The hero of this match wasn't a superstar. It wasn't a player expected to dominate headlines. And before kickoff, almost nobody was talking about him. But by the time Australia walked away with a massive victory over Türkiye, one man had completely changed the story of Group D. Because while everyone was focused on the United States after their explosive opening win, Australia quietly delivered a message of their own. And that message was simple: don't forget about us. When Australia and Türkiye stepped onto the pitch for match number 7 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, both teams understood the stakes. The United States had already claimed 3 points. Paraguay had already suffered defeat. This meant one thing: whoever won this match would immediately place themselves in a strong position to reach the knockout stages. The pressure was enormous. One mistake could change everything. One moment could define an entire tournament. And for almost an hour, neither team was willing to blink. The opening stages felt like a chess match disguised as a football game. Australia wanted control. Türkiye wanted chaos. Australia focused on structure, discipline, and organization. Türkiye relied on quick transitions, aggressive pressing, and moments of individual brilliance. Every tackle felt important. Every pass carried significance. Every attack looked like it might be the one that changed the game. Yet despite the tension, something was missing. A breakthrough. Australia looked solid. Türkiye looked dangerous. But neither side could find the final touch. As the first half progressed, frustration began to grow. Australia controlled large periods of possession but struggled to create clear opportunities. Türkiye defended intelligently and waited patiently for counterattacking chances. The match felt balanced, almost too balanced, and that's what made the next moment so important, because games like this are rarely decided by tactics alone. They're decided by belief, by courage, by the willingness to take responsibility when everyone else hesitates. Australia found that courage through one player, but before he became the hero, Australia had to survive. Türkiye emerged after halftime with greater energy. The pressing intensified. The challenges became harder. The attacks became more dangerous. For a brief period, Australia looked uncomfortable. This was the moment Türkiye needed to capitalize. The momentum had shifted. The confidence was growing. The Australians suddenly looked vulnerable. Then they missed their chance. And at the World Cup, missed opportunities are often punished. Australia weathered the storm. The defense stayed organized. The goalkeeper remained calm. The midfield regained control. Slowly, the match started moving back in Australia's direction. The turning point wasn't dramatic. It wasn't controversial. Most viewers probably didn't even notice it happening. But momentum had changed. The game was now being played on Australia's terms, and once that happened, the breakthrough felt inevitable. Then came the moment that transformed everything. A quick Australian attack caught the Turkish defense slightly out of shape. The ball moved through midfield. Space appeared. The opportunity opened. And Riley McGree made no mistake. One finish. One explosion of noise. One moment that changed the entire match. Australia had the lead. The celebrations were huge, not because the goal guaranteed victory, because everyone understood how important it might become. In matches like this, scoring first is often everything. Now the pressure belonged to Türkiye. Now they needed answers. Now they needed a response. And suddenly their game plan had completely changed. The next 10 minutes revealed the biggest difference between the two teams. Australia became calmer. Türkiye became desperate. Australia managed possession intelligently. Türkiye started forcing attacks. Australia trusted their structure. Türkiye started chasing the game. And that's exactly what Australia wanted. Every minute that passed increased the pressure on Türkiye. Every failed attack created more frustration. Every Australian clearance felt bigger than the last. The clock became Australia's best friend, Türkiye's biggest enemy. But then something happened. The Turkish defense blinked, only for a moment, and Australia punished them immediately. A second attack arrived. Another opening appeared. And once again Riley McGree was there. The finish was clinical. The celebrations were even bigger: 2 goals, 1 player, 1 unforgettable World Cup performance. At that moment the match was effectively over. Not because Türkiye stopped fighting, because Australia had discovered exactly how to hurt them. The hidden story of this match wasn't Australia's attack. It wasn't even McGree's finishing. It was patience. For more than an hour, Australia refused to panic. They didn't abandon their plan. They didn't force attacks. They didn't lose discipline. They waited. And eventually the opportunities arrived. That's what good tournament teams do. They understand that World Cup matches are rarely won in the first 20 minutes. They're often won in the final 30. Australia understood that. Türkiye didn't. As the match entered its closing stages, the Australians looked stronger with every passing minute. The confidence was obvious. The belief was growing. The players knew exactly what this result meant, because this wasn't just 3 points. This was a statement. While most people were talking about the United States after matchday 1, Australia had quietly positioned themselves right alongside them. And suddenly, Group D looked very different. The final whistle eventually arrived. Australia 2, Türkiye 0. A scoreline that looked simple, a match that was anything but. The standout performer was unquestionably Riley McGree. Before kickoff, he wasn't the player dominating headlines. After the final whistle, he was the player everyone was talking about. 2 goals, perfect timing, and one of the most influential performances of the tournament so far. But this victory belonged to more than one player. It belonged to Australia's discipline, their organization, their patience, their ability to stay calm when the match could have gone either way. For Türkiye, there will be disappointment, there will be frustration, and there will be questions. Because for long periods they looked capable of competing. For long periods they looked dangerous. Yet when the crucial moments arrived, Australia delivered and Türkiye didn't. That's the brutal reality of World Cup football. The margins are tiny. The consequences are enormous. And now Group D suddenly has a fascinating storyline. The United States have announced themselves. Australia have responded. Paraguay are already under pressure. Türkiye have work to do. The race for the knockout stage is only beginning. But if this performance taught us anything, it's this. Australia may not be one of the tournament favorites. They may not have the biggest stars. They may not receive the most attention. But they have something that every dangerous World Cup team needs: patience. And sometimes, patience is what turns an opportunity into a victory.